production crew is ready, so I guess we're going to jump in game anytime soon. Socke against ThorZain. Once again, predictions?
Got to be going for Socke here, man. He's my favorite, so he's my pick.
All right, I'm gonna say 2-1 for ThorZain right there.
There you go.
So, all right, guys, small break, and we'll be right back. First map, Cell Naga Caverns. Alrighty, welcome back. Here we go. Mouz ThorZain being the red Terran, of course, representing Sweden and Team MouseSports spawning in the right top side of the map. While Socke representing Germany and Team Alternate spawning in the left bottom side of the map. Of course, Socke, former Root War player, and he played a little bit of Warcraft as well, but nothing spectacular. He sat for 6 months or so, and then he got bored of the game. ThorZain on the round end is a player whom, yeah, we all got to know. At least I got to know him via Warcraft 3. I actually went to Sweden once to do a bootcamp with him, and back then, you won't believe it, but I already saw he had talent, man. We can verify this story, by the way. This is true.
I know ThorZain from his awesome run through the TSL. He put on a great show, of course, winning that whole tournament. That was his big coming out party for Starcraft 2. And man, he has been just dominant ever since. MC even saying that he thinks ThorZain's the best player outside of Korea.
Wow, that's a lot of honor, certainly when MC says about you. Yeah, I mean, TSL is pretty much the moment where everybody really got to know ThorZain. But I'm going to have to get some props to my former roommate, E.G. the Muslim, who actually said roughly a month before that before TSL even started, he already said he's like, ThorZain is really good. That kid is going to be insanely good anytime soon. And just barely 2-3 months after that, he wins TSL, which is like one of the biggest online tournaments that ever happened, and at least one that's very, very prestigious. So I got to give credit to the Muslim as well in that one.
Shout out to the Muslim. That guy rocks.
Yes.
So we see 1 gas, 1 racks out of ThorZain. Pretty standard opening. Par for the course. If I can throw some, I guess, American golf lingo in there. I don't know where that came from. I don't even play golf. So, and Zaka also has the 1 gas and the single gateway. Now we saw Naniwa go 1 gate expand on this map. Do you think Zaka is going to be so bold, or is he going to play a more slow and steady style?
I think a little safer. Perhaps a 2 gate into expand, or a 1 gate robo, and then he throws down the expand. I don't think he's going for 1 gate expand straight away. Certainly not from 1 gas. On the other hand, anything is possible. Socke is a guy. I mean, his macro is really good. He's really strong late game. He's very good at controlling several armies. I mean, I spoke to him once, and he said, in general, what he loves so much more about Starcraft than Warcraft is just he loves to suicide units. As long as it's for the greater good, you know, he loves to see unit die and make other units die, you know, just in general, and that's why he lost, and he's so good at controlling all of these small late game armies. So I'm expecting a longer game.
I'm trying to remember the event, but I will never forget watching Zaka play like a 60-minute TVP on Desert Oasis way back in the early part of release. I think it was one of the first MLGs or something. I don't know, but it was just insane. He was warping in High Templar. That was back when you could storm right after you warp in.
That was a good time, man.
Wiping stuff up, and it was so cool. And I don't know. I just really enjoy watching him play. But of course, we can't undersell ThorZain, who is, you know, fantastic in his own right. He's got a very early factory down, which is interesting. I have to feel like that's just for the starport and for medevacs.
It seems like perhaps a 1-base play over here for ThorZain. Socke is nevertheless going for a 1 gate, 1 gas fast expand. He does have that additional pylon up already, so he does have a couple of additional units you normally wouldn't really have in this phase of the game. And he's even like sort of faking a 4 gate. Do you see that with that 1 Stark, 1 sentry? If he's not going to lose his probe, okay, he is going to lose his scope. I thought perhaps he will like fake a 4 gate, because for now it's actually really tough for ThorZain to scout, unless you want to use the scan. But do you really want to use the scan at the 5-minute mark?
No, I think it's more typical that you wait until about 6:30, maybe even 7 minutes to throw down that first scan. So we've got Reactor on the factory, Reactor on the barracks. So we're going to see a lot of Hellions and Marines, and I think you're right, Roddy. I think this is going to be a very aggressive 1-base Marine Hellion, and even a starport. So
yeah, perhaps 1 Raven or just 1 medevac, and then he's just going for it. And you can do a lot of damage. Perhaps he's going for that sort of what I like to call the TLO style, where you go for, like, let's say 8 Marines and a medevac and also 3 Hellions, and you just completely split up your army. Something we saw TLO do once on Scrap Station against Wydra, and won't forget it. And ever since then, that was quite popular for a while. And it's really tough to defend for a fast expanding Protoss, because if you look at Socke's army right now, he's not going to have a lot of units. Let's take a look at his unit counter tab. Right now, all of his units are spread out, so don't want to make the camera movement too shaky. But 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker, 2 Sentries right now. Okay, he will be able to warp in a couple of additional units, but he's going to need pretty much all of his units to fight off 8 Marines and a medevac.
Right, yeah.
So if a couple of Hellions are somewhere, how are you going to split up your Protoss army? That's really tough.
Well, I think the weakness of the Protoss army in general is just how difficult it is to spread it out. It's very hard for Protoss to be in more than one place at a time.
I agree.
And it does look like Thorzain wants to try and exploit this. He's got, what is that, about 9 Marines, a few Hellions, and a medevac. So I'm really eager to see how this unfolds, and frankly, I'm worried for Socke. I don't think he has the capacity to deal with this.
He did see it incoming, though. At least he saw the medevac and a lot of Marines, so perhaps this will trigger something, at least some sort of reaction from Socke. He's going to have the observer over here. He does see the Hellions coming in right now, and I probably know, okay, I'm in a little bit of trouble. How is Socke going to defend it? I'm really curious.
Oh, he's got to have some excellent force fields, and the Hellions are getting a lot of shots off on the sentries. Not a single force field being cast there. I'm not really sure what happened. Probes are all in full retreat, and they're all going to get roasted. Huge probe roast happening there. Stalkers are trying to kill as many Hellions as they can. Thorzain just wants to knock out as much of the economy of Protoss as is possible, and the workers lost that. We can see already 15 probes have died and more are falling. The natural expansion of Socke is under extreme amounts of fire. That Nexus is absolutely going to go down. The Hellions are still running circles around the main base, and Socke is way behind.
Right now, only 15 probes left, 30 SCVs left for Thorzain, though. Thorzain still focusing on that Nexus. Oh, he doesn't finish it off as of yet, but he will come back, finish it off after all. We have 4 Stalkers, so they will be able to do decent hit and run. It's very annoying, by the way. Stalkers take priority to those Hellions, so actually the Marines are doing a lot of damage. It's very annoying when there is one Hellion around. I know I've seen myself in that situation several times. Socke is still dancing around with his Stalkers, trying to get as many shots as possible, but meanwhile, Thorzain just putting up his own command center, throwing down those bunkers. Excellent play by Thorzain, and I kind of saw it coming because it's just so hard to defend that properly. I do think Socke could have done a better job. I don't know what was up with those 4 sentries standing over there and just dying on one volley of a couple of Hellions.
I think in terms of build orders, Thorzain couldn't have asked for a better situation there. That was exactly how he probably would have liked for that to play out. Look at this. A couple more Hellions are going to run past and try to do some more harassment there into the mineral line of Socke. I don't know if he's seen those or not, but he does have a few Stalkers working on the rim. We do have an engagement happening into the natural of Thorzain, but there are 2 bunkers there, so I think Socke is going to have to turn around and go back home.
We do have a little Stalker wall over here, so good job right there by Socke preventing entry for these 2 Hellions, but nevertheless only 21 probes against 35 SCVs. I mean, Socke needs more than a miracle. Actually, he managed to take down 1 bunker. Sorry for that, was still focused on the Hellions, but meanwhile good hit and run by Thorzain, took down 1 Stalker, so actually a good change, and he takes down the sentry as well, so now it's going to be even better change for Thorzain. Well, this looks kind of over.
Yeah, Thorzain is way ahead. He's sitting on a 23 supply lead, 66 to 43. Socke is still trying to be annoying with these Stalkers. The cool thing about having Stalkers out against Terran is they basically have free reign of the map until concussive shells is done, and Thorzain not building any Marauders, not getting any concussive. Man, Marines do so much damage.
1 HP Stalker right there. Now Thorzain did try to get it in the end. Perhaps he's going to send this Hellion via another route, but that's not going to happen. Still Socke doing a decent job at dancing around, snipes off a Marine here and there, but that just doesn't really matter. I don't even think Thorzain cares. He probably really likes that situation. He's like, alright man, you take down a couple of my Marines, that's okay. Meanwhile, just, I mean, the economy of Thorzain compared to the economy of Socke is just ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Thorzain is earning up to almost 1600 minerals a minute, while Socke is roughly at 700. I mean, that difference is just insane.
That's rough. Twilight Council is down now for Socke. I wonder if he's going to be going up to DTs or if he's just trying to get that charge in the blink to round out his gateway army. I don't feel like playing standard can really win this game for him at this point. I think he really needs something crazy to swing it back into his favor.
Definitely true, but Thorzain knows it as well, and that's actually what I think makes him such a good player. He knows I'm way ahead right now. What is something that can get me really catching me off guard? Okay, well, DTs could do a lot of damage. Alright, let's just put up the missile turret just in case. I mean, such a small investment, and when you're earning so much more money than your opponent, that's just totally worth it. Yeah,
that's a good point there, Roddy. I think something that players need to really understand, especially guys that are trying to learn the game, is when you find yourself in a position where you're way ahead, take a second to ask yourself, okay, what could kill me right now? And as long as you cover that base, it's almost impossible to lose a game. So Thorzain's saying, all right, what is the one thing that could change this game? DTs. So he throws down that turret in the natural, and now there's no chance in the world of a DT getting in his main.
Exactly. We actually did see that Templar Archives going up right now for Alternate Socke, but yeah, his gas economy has been off 1 base for such a long time. Now actually Thorzain moving out with a decent Marine squad. Stim is well more than halfway done, just 50 seconds remaining. Should be done in time if he actually wants to wait for that. Concussive Shells is on the way, that 1-0. We do see Psychonic Storm being researched, so that was quite
Psychonic?
Yeah, well, actually I've tried Thor was pronouncing that in Dutch as well. Actually went to a doctor once to learn how to pronounce a certain combination of words. But that's a little personal story. Nevertheless, I do not think it's going to be in time. Let's just call it Storm.
Storm will not be in time for this bio attack, which is indeed bearing down on the natural expansion of Socke. I feel like this is probably going to be the game-ending blow. Stem goes down on a few units.
Nice
no, wait,
feedback.
Stem's not even done yet. I lied. So feedback on the medevac there. Socke is going to turn Thorzain around, which surprises me, but Thorzain, as soon as Stem finishes, he stems and runs in there. Timing was so good. Concussive shells finishing at the same time, and man, this bio army is just disintegrating. Well, I guess the gateway army just disintegrating under the bio attack, and Thorzain playing very, very well in that first game, decisively taking game #1.
I mean, of course, this game got pretty much decided at the moment that Thorzain went to the strategy he went, and I think this is really one of the reasons why a couple of really popular Protoss players, they stopped using this one gate expand. I mean, sure, it's really good if Terran goes for, like, let's say a no gas fast expand, or the typical, let's say, 1 Marine, 2 Marauder push with an SV Mima, put up the expand. I mean, then these kind of base builds are really good, but it's still vulnerable against several one-base plays, and this is just one of them. I mean, Hellions, they absorb actually a lot of damage from Stalkers, and when you have so few units, like, you can never kill the Hellions in time, even if he would have focused on the Hellions straight away. I mean, if there are 6 Hellions, that's so many Stalker shots. I mean, it takes 9 shots for a Stalker, or 8 shots for a Stalker to kill a Hellion. I mean, if you have only 4 or 5 Stalkers, that's just forever by the time you kill all those Hellions. And then you also have to worry about the SCVs, I mean by the Marine with the medevac. That's just, this build seems to be a little bit too vulnerable against certain strategies from Terran. And this really is the reason why a lot of Protoss players stopped using it.
Quite frankly, I'm surprised that Socke went for the build that he went for, because he's, in my opinion, I just see him as such a safe, standard guy. He sits back, does what works, does what he has to do to get into that late game situation. Going one gate expand is a gamble. It's a gamble on any map because of the vulnerabilities that you were talking about there. And he took a risk on Zelnaga Caverns of all maps, going one gate expo on one of the hardest maps to do it on. And he got punished for it pretty hard there. So I'm kind of eager to see what he does to bounce back in game #2. The map will be Shattered Temple.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Ben. I really think that's the way it is as well. I mean, in general, Socke is such a safe player, so I did not expect him to go for that, unless he was just really convinced that Thorzain would go for perhaps a 1 Rex Tech Lab expand, or even a no gas fast expand build. But I don't know, I wouldn't even, if I think of Thorzain, I don't really think of like, yeah, he's going to expand very well.
No, I mean Thorzain, he plays, I mean, his namesake, Thorzain, he likes to neck a little bit sometimes.